The large room fell quiet. 37 alien leaders watched the blue alien on the screen. His voice shook as he spoke. Our people are dying. The sickness spreads too fast. Please help us before we all die. Tak, the crystal-skinned leader, leaned forward. Light bounced off his hard body. It's too dangerous. Our tests show this sickness could spread to anyone who gets close. Around the round table, many voices agreed. One by one, they all said no. Each had good reasons not to help. In the back of the room sat Jun Park at a small desk. Earth had only joined this group 3 years ago, after humans showed they could travel faster than light. After all the powerful aliens said no, Jun stood up. He was much shorter than most aliens in the room. Earth will send help, he said simply. Tak's crystal face changed shape, showing surprise. Ambassador Park, I don't think you understand how bad. We understand perfectly, Jun cut in. Get ready. Our doctors will arrive in 3 days. As he sat down, Mira from the Altaran group whispered to her helper. That's just like humans. Cold and heartless. They probably just want to study the disease. Her helper nodded. What else can we expect from beings whose past is full of war and death? 2 days later, Jun sat alone in his office, looking at data screens. A soft knock came at his door. Come in, he called. His assistant Juan entered, holding a tablet. The medical ship Mercy is ready, sir. 200 doctors and nurses have signed up to go. Jun nodded. Any trouble finding volunteers? The opposite, sir. We had to turn people away. Dr. Kim will lead the team. Jun smiled slightly. Hannah Kim. Good choice. She has experience with outbreak control on Mars. Juan looked troubled. Sir, the Council has sent 3 messages asking us to reconsider. They say the risk is too great. Jun turned to the window, looking at the stars. Did they offer any alternative help for the Xilari? No, sir. Then we proceed as planned. Jun picked up a small photo from his desk. It showed an old woman smiling beside a younger Jun. My grandmother lived through the Bangkok virus of 2031. 2 million dead in Southeast Asia. She always told me how doctors from 20 countries came to help, even knowing they might not return home. He put the photo down. The Council thinks we're heartless because we fought wars. They don't understand that those same wars taught us what truly matters. On the main Council space station, Tak and 5 other leaders watched the human ship prepare to leave Earth. They're actually going, said Mira, the orange-skinned Altaran. Foolish creatures. Dax, the 6-eyed leader from Proxima, blinked slowly. Perhaps not foolish. Their history shows they've survived 12 planet-wide disease outbreaks in their short civilization. Still, said Tak, they risk not only themselves but all of us if they bring back contamination. Notice they're not sending soldiers or politicians, said Dax. Only healers. The human ship lifted off, its engines glowing blue against Earth's darkness. Inside, Dr. Hannah Kim addressed her team through the ship's speakers. We'll reach Xilari Prime in 60 hours. I won't lie to you. This mission has risks we can't fully predict. The Council races have advanced technology, but little experience with pandemic response. Humans have less technology, but centuries of hard-won knowledge about fighting disease. She paused. The Xilari government reports 40,000 deaths yesterday alone. We go not as saviors, not as heroes, but as neighbors offering help. That's what humanity does. The ship accelerated, breaking free from Earth's gravity. On the Council station, the alien leaders continued to watch. Such a waste, Mira said softly. They go to die for strangers. Dax turned all 6 eyes to her. Perhaps we've misunderstood these humans all along. In his small office, Jun Park looked at the latest report. The human medical ship had just entered faster than light travel. There was no turning back now. A new message flashed on his screen. From the Xilari Prime Minister, marked urgent. Jun opened it to find just a few simple words. Thank you for not abandoning us. June closed his eyes for a moment, thinking of his grandmother's stories of doctors in white coats walking into villages where death waited, of nurses holding the hands of the dying when even family had folded. "We're not heartless," he whispered to the empty room. "We've just learned, through much pain, what having a heart truly means." The big human ship Nightingale stopped at the edge of the Scyllari star system. It looked old and boxy next to the shiny alien ships watching from far away. Dr. Hannah Kim looked out the main window at the blue-green planet. The world was beautiful from space, but she knew it held great suffering. "All equipment checked and ready," said Dr. Ju beside her. "Safety suits are on. Teams ready to go down." Hannah nodded. "Start landing. Remember to respect their ways, but we make the medical choices." In one of the watching alien ships, Doros used all 6 of his eyes to see the human shuttles fly down to the biggest city. "They'll all be dead soon," he said to his friend. His friend, a tall green alien named Ren, wasn't so sure. "Humans are strange. They've survived things that should have killed them." The first human shuttle landed in what was once a busy city center. Now the streets were empty except for the sick and the dead. Dr. Hannah stepped out first, her white safety suit gleaming in the sunlight. Through her clear face mask, she saw blue-skinned aliens watching from windows. Some looked afraid, others hopeful. "Begin unloading," she ordered. "I want the first treatment center ready in 3 hours." The humans worked fast. They put up large white tents and brought in beds and medical tools. By nightfall, they had 3 centers ready. Jiwoo came to Hana with a sad report. "The local hospital is full. Doctors are sick too. They've lost 40% of their medical workers." Hannah's face grew serious behind her mask. "Send Team B to help at the hospital. We need to learn how the Xylari have been treating this." In the alien ships above, the Watchers were surprised. "They set up treatment centers in hours," said Ren. "Our best teams would take days." Doros still looked doubtful. "Speed means nothing if they all get sick." The next few days were hard. The humans worked all day and most of the night. When they got too tired, they slept in their safety suits instead of taking them off. A young Xylari doctor named Ilo worked with the humans. "Why do you not rest properly?" he asked Dr. Ju. "Taking off the suits means risk," she explained. "Better to be uncomfortable than exposed." Ilo looked confused. "But our own doctors take breaks. The council advisors said we must protect ourselves first." "Different training," Ju said simply, then went back to work. On the 5th day, something important happened. Dr. Sunjali was looking at blood samples when he noticed something strange. He called the team together. "Look at this. The disease changes when it meets Xylari immune cells. It's like it knows exactly how to beat them." Hannah looked at the screens showing the infection. "But it doesn't know how to fight human cells. That's why our treatments might work." Unknown to them, tiny flying robots from the alien ships were watching and listening. The council leaders saw everything. "Impossible," said Doros. "They found a pattern in 5 days that our scientists missed in months." Ren leaned forward, interested. "They're using old methods, looking with their eyes, not just machines." That night, Hannah finally took off her suit in the clean room of their ship. Her skin was pale, and dark circles showed under her eyes. "You need rest," said Ju, looking worried. "Later," said Hannah. "I want to try something. If Sanjay is right, we might be able to use our own immune response to help the Xylari." In the morning, Hannah met with Ilo and other Xylari doctors. She showed them new data. "The disease was made to kill Xylari," she explained simply. "Someone designed it to beat your immune system, but it doesn't know how to fight humans." The blue-skinned doctors looked at each other in shock. "Who would do this?" asked one. "That's not our job to find out," said Hannah. "Our job is to stop it." Up in the watching ships, the council representatives were uncomfortable. Doros turned to Ren. "The humans think this was made on purpose." "That's a serious claim." Ren nodded slowly. "And yet their data shows it might be true." Down on the planet, Hannah worked with a small team to test a new idea. They took human antibodies and changed them to work in auxiliary bodies. It might not work, she warned Ilo, but it's worth trying. The first tests on blood samples showed promise. The changed human antibodies fought the disease better than any auxiliary medicine. "We need more tests," said Sanjay carefully. "We don't have time for perfect," said Hannah. "People are dying now." Ilo looked at the human doctor with new respect. "You truly care about saving us." Hannah seemed surprised by his words. "Of course we do. Why else would we be here?" In the council ships, the representatives watched all this with growing interest. "They're making progress," admitted Doros, "but at great risk to themselves." "Perhaps," said Ren, "we've been wrong about humans all along." The morning sky was dark with rain when the alarm sounded in the human base. Dr. Minji had fallen to her knees while checking a young blue-skinned patient. Her hand shook as she tried to stand. "Minji." Dr. Juu ran to her, but Minji held up a hand to stop her. "Don't come closer," she said, her voice weak. "I think I'm infected." The test confirmed what they feared. The red light on the small device meant the sickness had gotten through Minji's suit somehow. 4 more doctors tested positive that same day. "We need to get you all back to the ship," Hannah said, her face tight with worry. "The medical bay can." "No," Minji said firmly, even as sweat ran down her face. "I can still work. My patients need me." "That's against all safety rules," Juu argued. Minji looked at her with tired eyes. "I'm already sick. I can't get more sick, but I can still help." In the watching ships above the planet, the alien leaders were shocked. "The infected humans are refusing to leave," said Ren, his green skin pale with surprise. Mira, who had always spoken against humans, couldn't believe her eyes. "This is madness. They're giving up their lives for aliens they just met." Doros watched silently, all 6 eyes focused on the screens. Down on the planet, Hannah set up a new building just for the sick human doctors. They would work there, treating patients while fighting their own battle with the disease. "This is wrong," Juu told Hannah in private. "We should force them to rest." "Would you rest?" Hannah asked quietly. "If you were in their place." Juu had no answer. The infected humans grew sicker each day, but they kept working. Minji was the worst. Her blue-tinged skin showed the disease was deep in her body. A young auxiliary child held Minji's hand as she gave him medicine. "Will you get better too?" he asked. Minji smiled through her pain. "I hope so, little one. Now drink this." In the lab, Hannah and Sanjay worked day and night. They noticed something strange. The disease acted differently in human bodies than in auxiliary bodies. "Look at this," Sanjay pointed to the screen. "The disease tries to change to fight our immune system, but it can't do it fast enough." Hannah's eyes widened. That means human antibodies might work as a treatment. They worked for 3 days straight, making a medicine from human antibodies. The tests on blood samples looked good. "We need to test it on a living subject," Juu said. "But who? We can't risk auxiliary life on an untested treatment." The room fell quiet. Everyone knew what had to happen, but no one wanted to say it. "I'll do it," Hannah finally said. She rolled up her sleeve. "Give me the injection." Juu looked horrified. "But Hannah, you're not sick. This could infect you. Or worse." "Then we'll know it doesn't work," Hannah said simply. "Better me than someone already suffering." In the observation ships, the alien leaders watched as Hannah sat calmly while Juu prepared the injection. "She's deliberately exposing herself to the disease," Mira whispered. "No one has ever." For the first time in the history of the Galactic Council, several representatives couldn't watch. They turned away from the screens, unable to face what they were seeing. "They called humans heartless," Ren said quietly. "But I have never seen such heart." The needle went into Hannah's arm. The clear liquid flowed into her blood. Then came the second injection, a small amount of the active disease. Now we wait, Hannah said. She was moved to the isolation building with the other sick doctors. Minji was barely conscious now, her breathing shallow. You shouldn't have done this, Minji whispered when she saw Hannah. Rest, Hannah told her. If this works, you'll get the treatment too. The night was long. Hannah's fever rose. Pain racked her body. Ju monitored her constantly, sending data to Sanjay in the lab. The antibodies are fighting, Sanjay said, his voice hopeful. But is it enough? In the morning, something amazing happened. Hannah's fever broke. Her blood tests showed the disease was retreating. It's working, Ju said, tears in her eyes. The treatment works. They immediately gave the medicine to Minji and the other sick doctors. Then they began preparing more for the auxiliary patients. In the observation ships, the council representatives were silent with awe. She risked everything, Mira said. Not for glory or power, but for strangers. Doros finally spoke. Perhaps we have misjudged these humans. What we saw as Heartless may be something else entirely. Down on the planet, Hannah was weak but standing. She watched as the first auxiliary patients received the new medicine. Will it save them all? Asked Ilo, the auxiliary doctor. Not all, Hannah admitted. We came too late for some, but many will live now. Ilo looked at her with his large eyes. Why did you risk yourself? Hannah thought for a moment. Because that's what humans do. We help when we can, where we can. It's that simple. Simple, but to the watching galaxy, it was revolutionary. The rain finally stopped on the third day after Hannah took the test medicine. The sky cleared to show 2 bright suns over the auxiliary city. Inside the treatment center, Hannah stood at a table with her team. Her face was thin and pale, but her eyes were bright. Look at these results, she said, pointing to the screens with shaking hands. The disease tries to change to fight the human antibodies, but it can't change fast enough. This gives the auxiliary immune system time to learn how to fight back. Ju studied the data and smiled. You were right. This is the breakthrough we needed. Start making as much medicine as we can, Hannah ordered. Every hour counts. The human team worked quickly. They used all the equipment they had brought to make the new medicine. Some doctors gave blood to provide more antibodies. Sanjay worked with the mixing machines. We need more help to make enough for everyone. Ilo, the auxiliary doctor, stepped forward. Show us how to help. We can learn. Soon humans and auxiliary worked side by side. The blue-skinned aliens learned fast, copying the careful movements of the human doctors. In space, more alien ships arrived. Word had spread through the Galactic Council that something unexpected was happening. Representatives from worlds that had ignored the crisis now rushed to see with their own eyes. 20 more council ships have entered orbit, reported a human crew member to Ju. Let them watch, she said, not looking up from her work. We have lives to save. By evening, the first large batch of medicine was ready. The team began giving it to the sickest patients first. Minji, still weak but recovering, helped give the shots. A small auxiliary child cried when he saw the needle. Minji spoke softly to him. It will hurt for just a moment, but then you'll start to feel better. I promise. The child looked at her blue-tinged skin. You were sick too. Yes, said Minji. And this medicine helped me. The child held still for the shot. Something strange began to happen as more auxiliary received the medicine. At first, the humans didn't understand what was happening. The blue-skinned aliens would approach them, then slowly reach out and touch their arms or shoulders. What does this mean? Hannah asked Ilo after the 5th time it happened. Ilo seemed surprised by the question. It is our deepest thanks. In our culture, we rarely touch others, especially strangers. A touch means complete trust and gratitude. Hannah nodded, understanding now. It's a great honor then. The highest, confirmed Ilo. Some of these people have never touched anyone outside their family. In orbit, the council representatives watched all this with growing interest and confusion. What are they doing now? Asked a newly arrived representative. Tak, his crystal body gleaming, studied the screens. They're sending out data packets. Not just to us, but to everyone. All their research, all their findings. The new representative looked confused. Without payment, without contracts. Apparently so, said Tak. They've included everything, even their mistakes and failed tests. Doro shifted his large body uncomfortably. My government wants to know what they expect in return. Nothing is free in this galaxy. The communications officer, a slim purple-skinned alien, touched her console. The human ambassador sent this reply when asked that question. Ambassador June's voice filled the room. We want nothing except to see the HFY recover. This is what neighbors do. The council representatives looked at each other in confusion. One laughed nervously. They must have some hidden motive, said Mira. Perhaps they want mining rights or military bases. I have analyzed all their communications, said the officer. They have made no requests beyond medical supplies and technical assistance. Down on the planet, the first treated patients were showing clear improvement. Fevers dropped. Blue skin returned to its normal bright color. Some were even strong enough to sit up and eat. Hannah watched as a HFY mother hugged her child for the first time in weeks. The woman looked at Hannah with large, teary eyes, then slowly reached out her hand and touched Hannah's face through the clear mask. Thank you, she said simply. That night, Hannah sent a message to Ambassador June on the council station. Treatment working. Recovery rate at 63% and climbing. Need more production capacity for rural areas. June read the message and immediately called a meeting with the council leaders. Our doctors need more equipment to make medicine for outlying areas, he told them. Will you help now? The representatives looked uncomfortable. Finally, Tak spoke. The council will provide whatever is needed. June nodded. Thank you. Dr. Kim will send the specifications. As he turned to leave, Mira called out, Wait, what does Earth want for this help? There must be something. June looked genuinely puzzled. Want. We want what anyone would want, to help neighbors in trouble. Back on the planet, as night fell, Hannah stood outside the treatment center looking at the stars. She was still weak, but getting stronger each day. Juwu joined her. The death rate is dropping fast. We might actually beat this thing. We will, said Hannah with quiet confidence. And then we'll make sure it never happens again. The council is sending more equipment tomorrow, Juwu said. Funny how they want to help now that the worst is over. Hannah smiled slightly. Better late than never. They're learning. Above them, the stars twinkled. Somewhere up there, the galaxy was watching and wondering about these strange creatures called humans. The big meeting room was full. All 37 alien leaders were there, plus many others who wanted to watch. Some stood because there were no more seats. In the middle of the room stood the HFY ambassador, his blue skin now healthy again. Next to him stood Dr. Hannah Kim. Her face had small scars from her sickness, but she stood tall and proud. The human medicine has stopped the disease, said the HFY ambassador. Our people are no longer dying. We are starting to get better. High Counselor Tak, the crystal-skinned leader, raised one shiny arm. The council thanks Earth for their help. We want to give them an award. An award? A new voice cut in. Everyone turned to look. An old HFY was coming into the room. He was so old and weak that two younger HFY had to help him walk. This was Elder Jiho, one of the oldest and most respected HFY. You talk about awards, the old HFY said, his voice shaking but strong. While we HFY must face a hard truth, you all left us to die. You decided we were not worth saving. The room got very loud. Many alien leaders started talking at once. Some were angry. Others tried to explain why they didn't help. We had good reasons. The risk was too great. Our people would have been in danger. Dr. Hannah stepped forward. The room got quiet again. "We didn't come here for awards or thanks," she said. Her voice was soft, but somehow everyone could hear her. "In human history, we've learned that real courage isn't about winning battles. Sometimes it's just about showing up when someone needs help." Representative Mira, who had always been hard on humans, stood up. "But why? Why would your people risk so much? What did you hope to gain?" Ambassador June gave a small smile. "You called humans heartless because our history has war and fighting. You're not wrong about our past. But every bad thing in our history taught us something important. We came because we looked at our bloody past and decided to make a better future." The meeting went on for many more hours. The alien leaders talked and argued, but in the end, something new happened. The council made a new plan for future emergencies. They called it the Kim Protocol, after Dr. Hana. Under this new plan, no species would be left alone in a crisis again. All across the galaxy, aliens who had thought humans were simple and violent began to think differently. Maybe being advanced wasn't just about technology. Maybe it was about helping others. As the humans got ready to go home, Elder Jiho came to speak to Dr. Hana one last time. "My people have an old saying," he told her. "The brightest light comes from the darkest places." Maybe what they called Heartless was really the purest heart of all. Hana looked at the old alien with respect. "My people have suffered much in our short history. We've made terrible mistakes, but we try to learn from them." "That," said Elder Jiho, "is true wisdom." On the human ship, as they prepared to leave, Jiwoo found Hana looking at pictures of the auxiliary city. It was coming back to life. People were in the streets again. Children were playing. "Do you think the council has really changed?" Jiwoo asked. Hana thought for a moment. "Change is hard. But they've taken the first step. And was it worth it? All the risk, the pain." Hana touched the scars on her face gently. "Look at those children playing. What do you think?" As the ship lifted off, many auxiliary came up to watch. They raised their hands in the air, touching their palms together. A gesture humans now knew meant friends forever. In the council chamber, the alien leaders watched the human ship leave. Tak turned to the others. "We have much to learn from these humans," he said. "They may be young, but in some ways, they are wiser than us all." Mira, who had called humans heartless, looked thoughtful. "Perhaps we were too quick to judge them by their history. Perhaps we should judge them by their actions instead." Hiro's used all 6 of his eyes to watch the ship disappear into the stars. They came when no one else would. They risked everything for strangers. If that is being heartless, then perhaps we need to learn what heart truly means. The end.